Hello everyone. So my research paper was titled Transforming the Curriculum, Ethnic Studies and K-12 Education. So my overview, this research paper explores an area under multicultural education, specifically that of ethnic studies. It begins by providing general information and ideas regarding ethnic studies and briefly states the essential questions that have guided this research. This paper explores what ethnic studies is by first defining it, then mentioning some of the goals of ethnic studies, as well as providing a brief history of ethnic studies. Counterarguments, misconceptions, and the misdefining of ethnic studies is also elaborated upon to provide a clear context of the controversy surrounding ethnic studies, specifically the controversy involving the Mexican American Raza Studies program in the Tucson Union School District in Tucson, Arizona. Then evidence is provided regarding ethnic studies having a positive impact on students, thus arguing the importance of ethnic studies and why teachers should support its implementation in K-12 curriculum. So this paper concludes with examples of ethnic studies pedagogy and classes, and finally ends with reflecting upon the current state of ethnic studies and the future implications this has for teachers. So I set the stage here by describing how some might argue that the education system in the U.S. is rooted in Eurocentric ideals and Western thought that is continuously enforced throughout students' K-12 education. And I support this with a quote from Churchill, which was one of our readings during multicultural education during the semester. And I basically do this to kind of provide that introduction to why ethnic studies is a thing and why it came to be. So the development of and implementation of ethnic studies classes in K-12 education can be seen as a way to challenge these notions of Western ideas being seen as superior. And then I continue to describe ethnic studies briefly and provide my thesis statement as well. And here, this is where I describe ethnic studies and provide definition for it. So it's a field that centers on the study of race, uses interdisciplinary perspectives and methods, and attempts to interrogate and dismantle systems of power. So here I describe some of the key characteristics that ethnic studies programs and classes share. It's also important to note that ES classes may take the form of subdisciplines, and these can include but are not limited to classes such as African American, Black Studies, American Indian Indigenous Studies, Asian American Studies, Chicano Studies, Mexican American and or Latino American Studies, as well as critical mixed race studies, Muslim American studies, Pacific Islander studies, and comparative ethnic or race and resistance studies. So here is where I offer a brief history of ethnic studies. It's important to recognize both the important contributions of those who have worked and continue to work to establish ES programs, departments, and classes across the country, as well as recognize the fact that ES is continuously evolving and expanding as well. So here's when I introduce the controversy surrounding ethnic studies, such as the one in Arizona that was introduced when the law AZHB, or Arizona House Bill 2281, was signed. So this was a direct attack on the Mexican American Raza Studies Department at the Tucson Unified School District in Tucson, Arizona. And here I describe a little more in depth some of the uninformed claims that were made in the bill regarding ethnic studies and the impact that it had, both negative and actually positive as well in some cases, because it did reinvigorate the movement for Mexican American studies and other ethnic studies courses throughout the United States, especially in California. And then I continue to describe why ethnic studies classes should be supported by teachers and implemented in K-12 education because of their positive impacts on students. Specifically, they help students increase their attendance as well as their GPA and credits earned. And then I provide some more data here as well. Although research data is limited, this is still important to understand and recognize and see how it does actually indeed impact students in a positive way. So here I describe a little more in detail the different pedagogy of ethnic studies, so specifically culturally responsive pedagogy and community responsive pedagogy. I also include an example of an ethnic studies course, specifically the Chicanx and Latinx studies class, as well as ways in which they inspire community action as well. And I conclude ultimately by reflecting upon the current state of ethnic studies, where it's headed, and future implications that this has for teachers as well. Thank you.